Air Force Pararescue, Tsunami Inbound. Written by James A. Shaw. Chapter 4.
Dad gets angry and says,
"Where's the evidence in all of this?"
I am unsure what Dad is talking about. I stand up and go up front. I peer across the bow of the boat. Looking out through the window, the light gray mist is lifting, but what is surprising is the absence of water.
Why is the water gone?
John looks out as well. He boils in anger and slams his fist down on the steering wheel. He raises his voice.
Good question, but does it really matter? Just look. We only have about 3 feet of water below our front bow. We cannot go any further. Looks like we are walking through the mud flats, which is plain suicidal. This is the dumbest decision to go this way.
Dad and John argue back and forth. John says,
You have got to listen to me, Alan. We are 20 miles from Anchorage, but with no water, there is no way we are walking back. Think.
How about waiting for the water to return? It would give us the option, possibly, to travel back to Anchorage or maybe to another coastal town, such as Girdwood.
We are not going to wait.
Then what options do we have? If we cannot wait, and we are not walking, what do you want me to do? Just sit here? Nah, we are dead if we do that, mates.
The mathematical difference occupies their time as they scientifically discuss their options. In front of us lay a minefield of mud flats that could suck you down like quicksand. Dad always warned us about going out on the flats. Every year, the news covered at least one story of a dumb tourist walking onto the mud flats, getting stuck, and drowning when the tide came back in. The news always reiterated that the Alaskan coastline is different than typical shorelines, with several high and low tides, which recede for miles. I look around at the adults. Fear and worry are expressed all over their faces. They move to the back of the boat and step outside into the cold elements. They stare down, as if the water would magically reappear. Mom leans over the side. Her dress lifting with the wind causes her to get frustrated about her lack of practical clothing. Her ankles appear blue and purple as she reaches back down to fix the loose ankle straps on her heels. Mom says,
Back inside.
They come in and circle. Mom speaks first.
John, Alan, what are your ideas?
I don't know. How am I supposed to know? This is not an everyday occurrence for me to correlate.
Don't patronize me, Alan. I just wanted a simple answer. If you don't know, you don't know, but give me something that is logical, not scientific nonsense.
What do you expect, babe? Just give me a chance.
John stops Mom and Dad's fight and begins to reason his point that they need to turn back. The 3 adults argue and fight about who might be right and who is wrong. Their debate gets louder, so I head over to Maggie on the bench seat. I watch them all tear down one another. John talks over the others. His tone is fuming. He takes off his jacket in frustration and throws it down. His sleeves are rolled up and a sleek, black snake tattoo is visible above his wrist, winding up to his elbow. John yells at Mom.
There is a tsunami behind us. I cannot just wait for the water to return. And if you are planning to climb that cliffside to our right, you are downright crazy. No way any of us can make it to the top. That climb is pure death. I demand we turn around.
You can scream and shout, John, but it might be our only option.
Well, it may be, but that is a hand-over-hand climb. It is impossible for all of us to reach the top. We do not even have a bloody climbing rope, just a half-discorded spare anchor rope. And besides, who is to say one of us does not fall back into the water?
Dad then stomps over to the windows. I watch him as he gets into his tunnel vision and formulates his plan. He methodically analyzes risk versus reward. Dad breaks from the conversation and heads topside on the boat. I can hear Dad walking around in his dress shoes. He is formulating a plan, but he leaves us, making things awkward between Mom and John.
John, please, only we know.
Says Mom in a low whisper and with a soft touch.
You can do this climb. We all can. We all have to.
Mom rubs John's shoulder. She slides her hand down, along his snake tattoo, and to his hand. She holds it. John peers down at Mom.
Mary, it is not that easy for me. What you are asking is crazy talk. What we have or what we had is more than this, right? Am I wrong?
A silence lingers between the two of them, and they stare at each other intensely. Mom goes on to talk in hushed tones.
Please, John, please.
A loud noise rumbles up top.
Okay, I have a simple plan.
Yells Dad from topside. I walk over to the right side of the boat and glance out through the square window. To our immediate right is a cliff of 30 feet that is solid rock and caked mud. It goes straight up. I turn and ask Maggie, you want to go see what Dad is talking about?
I am not even sure what we are doing. I guess Dad wants me to climb.
She fumbles with her cell phone as she glances through her picture gallery.
Everything is ruined. Now, Mom and Dad can't get it together, and I don't have much charge left. Whatever. I will go help. I will be the adult.
She puts her phone down and looks out. Maggie, are you okay with this?
Yeah, whatever. I just want to go home. If Dad wants me to climb, I can do this. This is stupid easy.
Maggie double knots her white Converse shoes and adjusts her dress. She unhooks her loop earrings before zipping up her blue jacket to the top notch. She stretches a few times at the waist and gives me a smirk.
Stupid easy. Just like climbing the rock wall back in the gym. Besides, look at my arms and legs. I am pretty strong. Stronger than Dad.
You really okay with this?
Lucca, it is not that simple. Just look at Mom and Dad. One day you will understand. John is not who you think.
I go in for a hug, and she reacts with outstretched arms.
Come here, little brother. Don't you worry. I am fine. Big sis has got to do this for all of us. Been training for this my whole life.
She hugs me tight before quickly departing through Mom and John's private conversation. I look around the boat for some snacks. My stomach hungers for the food we would be eating at the wedding reception by now. I pillage through a couple of cabinets and find only food cans. I want wedding cake or even chips and salsa. My hunt for food captures the attention of John.
If you are hungry, there are cans of Spam underneath the floorboard by the rear bulkhead.
What is a bulkhead?
Lucca, just wait. I will help you, but we are working at the moment.
Maggie's voice shouts from up top.
I will do it, stupid easy.
Mom and John stop talking. Mom projects her voice to the top deck.
Do what? Repeat that, Maggie.
She is able to listen to a different conversation while conducting her own, only something that moms can do. Dad comes back down and gets behind the wheel.
If everyone will just trust me right now, you act like I cannot come up with solutions. I have a great idea to get us to safety. Mary, you know that my best work comes at the midnight hour.
Well, it's not the midnight hour.
Mary, you know what I mean.
Dad gives Mom a sympathetic look and slowly replies.
Mary, I got this. I really do.
Mom seems to lose her anger.
Okay then, Alan, what is your idea?
Yay, Alan, what you got?
Dad begins to share his plan. He acts out the scene in his James Bond tux, describing how we could climb up the cliffside with no problem. He says,
With the 50-foot rope in the back that is used for the spare anchor, I predict it would take any one of us less than 10 minutes to climb the rock face. We are simply going hand over hand, and, since there are many rock ledges for anchoring the rope, we are already at a good spot. While it might sound reckless, we have no other alternative but to make a choice in this life-or-death situation. We all witnessed what happened. Now we must act or face the same fate as our family. Now, babe, we saw what happened to your sister. I trust you can support me in this. Please, do this. Save us all from certain doom.
The cabin is heavy. John seems to want nothing to do with this plan. For whatever reason, John seems terrified of the idea of climbing. He begins to cross-examine Dad's plan, hoping to find holes. The tension builds as John picks up an item in the boat and tosses it against the wall. It breaks into pieces.
No, I will not climb.
Dad does not like this and quickly stammers over to power up the engines. He does not ask John if it is okay, and he steers the boat over to the cliff side. We drift in, then Dad drops anchor. We are roughly a few feet away from the cliff side, avoiding the jagged rocks that protrude.
Okay, everyone, get yourselves ready.
Dad looks around and counts with his finger.
Mary, you will climb second, after Maggie. See if we have a book bag as well to carry items.
No way! No. My baby girl is not going to risk her life for us. We are the adults.
I hear you, but this is the best way. Up top, she can anchor in a rope and let it drop over the side. It is logically the smartest solution, because it's now or never.
I peer outside. I begin to notice that the boat slowly rocks. Water begins to hit the rocks, suggesting that the water is coming back in. We anchor next to the cliff side, where it directly descends into the water. John drove us as far as we could go until the hull scraped the rocks under the shallow surface. The adults yell into each other's faces before Mom curses out Dad.
Damn it, Alan, I disagree.
Dad scratches his head in puzzlement and looks to me for support. I shrug my shoulders, and Dad turns to Mom.
Maggie is built for this. She can climb, and you know it.
Mom stares back in disbelief. John looks disappointed and says sternly,
It really should be one of the adults to go. Just not me. How about you go, Alan? You go first. Be the adult.
Dad looks unhappy and tilts his head at Mom.
Mary, you have to let Maggie go. She is the best for this job. Look at our options. There are none.
They are all bad options. Alan, give me something I can hope for. Something that I can believe in.
Babe, I have talked to Mag and formulated a plan to climb the rock and get us to the top. It simply requires that we trace a line up the side that allows for best hand and foot placement.
Really? This is your plan. Send our daughter to her death. Why not you, or even John?
John claps his hands and chimes in.
There are no perfect options. Better your daughter than me. You know she can climb. None of us want to die out here. Remember, there is a wave coming that cares little for how you feel or your children. Mary, give me a hand getting the rope. I also have something for you, and some wet boots for Maggie.
Mom looks sternly at me and says,
Stay put. Don't listen to your dad just yet.
I sit down off to the side and quietly wait. Dad says nothing to me but a few mumbling words that are inaudible. He grips the steering wheel, and I hear what sounds like crying. Mom and John return with the white anchor rope. Mom points her finger at Dad, then at John. She accuses the two of them of being poor fathers. Once Mom sees me, she stops talking mid-sentence.
Didn't I tell you to wait up topside?
Mom, I don't think so. I watch Mom turn, and then John grabs the rope from Mom and then walks past me and heads up the ladder. Mom and Dad stare into each other's eyes and do not speak. Dad takes his hand and brushes Mom's hair off to the side of her face. Her face glows with beauty even though her dark eyeshadow has smear. Dad looks at Mom and says,
I love you. Tell me you love me.
I love you too. I do, but this is madness. We have to fix this when we get back.
We will, babe. Just trust me.
Dad leans in and kisses Mom.
I love you too, Alan.
Mom and Dad seem to make up. They corral me into their arms for a big hug.
We love you, son. Now go grab some more food.
I walk back to the rear of the boat and fetch some snacks. I peer out the port window, and I notice that the boat slowly approaches the side of the cliff. We are only inches away. I hear the splatter of rock pebbles hit the water. I turn my head and look up through the window. There, I see it, my sister doing her thing again. Without any harness or safety line, Maggie, in her perfect knee-length dress, blue jacket, and Converse shoes, is already climbing up. Her right foot rises to her hips and onto a protruding ledge. She looks back down and sees me staring out the window.
I will be okay, brother.
I spin around Mom and Dad, who are blocking the ladder, and race up topside, past John, who is staring at his phone. I see my sister still climbing. Without any rope, my heart stutters. With another push, Maggie ascends up and onto another ledge. I yell up, "Maggie, Dad is not going to like this."
Don't worry.
Our boat drifts back away, giving her no footing if she chooses to retreat. Our front anchor, which is housed at the forward stern, keeps us steady, but not in the same spot. We sway with the current. Ripples of water begin to pool around the boat. Dad walks outside to find Maggie climbing. He sprints to the front of the boat and almost trips over the anchor chain.
Wait. Mag, you don't have to. Please, wait.
Dad, I'm fine. Stop treating me like a child. I got this.
Mom rushes out onto the top deck. She stops, motionless like a deer in headlights.
Maggie, please be safe.
She turns, looks at John, and demands,
Why didn't you stop her, John?
I didn't see. I was busy with other things.
Dad pushes around them and screams back up.
One step at a time. Just go slow, okay?
Maggie gradually makes her ascent, one foot, then another, and another. Gracefully, she balances her weight on each outcropping of rock. Her muscular frame accelerates, her speed going up. Her calf muscles pop with definition. Higher and higher, she makes her way. Mom bends over in frustration. She quickly snaps off the heels and gives Dad a death stare.
Darn these shoes.
She tightens the ankle strap and fixes her dress.
You sure, babe?
Don't question me right now. My baby is up there.
Just asking. I know how much you spent on those shoes.
Really?
Wait. Here, I have the sorrel wet boots.
John quickly turns and has the boots already in hand.
Here, take them.
Mom takes off her broken heels and puts on the wet boots.
Not perfect, but better. Thank you, John. Maggie, babe, I am coming up.
She heads to the front of the boat and patiently waits by the anchor chain. Balancing her weight, she looks for an opportunity to jump onto the cliff face. As the boat moves back towards the rock face, she places her hand against the rock and braces herself. The boat begins to sway, but remains close enough that she can make her move.
Hurry, Mom. The tide appears to be coming back.
I look back across the water and notice large swells. Dad softly stammers.
Mary, you might want to hurry. The tide seems to be coming in. Do you want to not go?
That is not even a question to ask. I am going up. That's my baby.
Here, take the rope. I can climb up after you.
Mom leans over and hugs John first, then Dad.
No goodbyes. I will see you up top.
She ties one end of the rope to her waist. Looking up, she retraces Maggie's line with her eyes. She carefully waits until the perfect moment to leave the safety of the boat. She tunes us out as John and Dad give her an earful of concerns and tips. Mom leaps forward, grabbing a hold of the rock ledge and quickly beginning to ascend. Her red dress quickly dirties. Mom, by all definitions, is also an athlete, and her abilities are on full display for John and Dad. The two men stare up and hold their breath. Maggie climbs ahead of Mom. She peers down and cheers on Mom right as she steps off the boat. Maggie says,
You can do it, Mom. Just take it nice and slow. It's all rock.
It takes Maggie only about 10 minutes to climb to the top. I am sure that I will be slower. I see that Mom is quick like Maggie as she ascends. The men stare intently up and do not notice the hazardous water pooling around the boat. Cold ocean spray hits my exposed skin. The ocean temperatures can cause hypothermia in minutes if someone falls in. I look around and see the boat rising. Within the last few minutes, we have moved up about 5 feet, making the climb shorter for whoever is next in line. I look up as she loses her footing. She curses.
Damn it.
Dad leans out as if to catch her.
Mary, please be safe.
Even if he were positioned under her, there is no chance he could catch her. The boat drifts away from the rocks, and Dad gets uneasy watching. The boat begins to violently sway with the current. I break their concentration. Dad, who is next?
You are going next, son.
He turns and looks down at me. He quickly realizes the water is rising.
John, we need to get him up and next in line.
What about the rope for him?
For the moment, I want him climbing. It's too much risk to keep him here.
I adjust my life vest. The one I'm wearing is for a large adult, but I really need a child size. I look up to retrace the same line that Maggie and Mom took. It doesn't look too difficult, but I am also following athletes. I am more of a video gamer. Sounds across the bay distract my attention. I look towards Anchorage and notice that the tide is growing higher and higher. Large boulders, once visible, are covered in water.
The water is rising, Alan. We need to go.
Dad pulls me into his arms.
Son, I need you to focus. Pay attention. Do whatever your mother tells you.
He steps back and looks up. He cups his hands around his eyes to block the sunlight. I can smell his sweat as his anxiety increases. John looks up, then down, then back up, then down. He seems more worried about the rushing water. The boat slams against the cliff side, and John falls off his feet. Dad and I lose our footing. The collision causes all of us to refocus our attention away from the ladies. John tightly grips the metal railing while holding the rope. We jump up and look over the side of the boat. Dad stands at the front by the anchor chain. John mouths.
Maybe we should leave them.
What? No. We have to let my son go.
I agree, but let's pull the anchor so we don't have to wait. Maybe we can race in with the incoming tide.
I must get my son up the rock. This is not up for discussion.
Yes, but not at our expense. I won't have it.
The tide's return starts racing around the boat's hull. Water surges in every direction, and we begin to rapidly rise and rock.
Anchor secured in place. Urgency is imperative. We need to go.
Dad nervously looks into my eyes before quickly checking me all over. He says,
Son, we are running out of time for your safety. You are going now. On the next pass by the rocks, you must go. I love you. Be careful.
He embraces me with a hug and playfully rubs my brown hair into my face.
Now go.
My arms quake with fear as I wait for the momentum to jump off the front of the boat.
Look up at me, son. You can do this.
I wait for the boat to careen against the cliff side, but the waves cause confusion for the timing. The boat moves and rocks without purposeful direction. I wait for the moment it seems we will hit the rocks. The time is now. I go. I reach forward and step on the ledge with all of my weight on my right foot. My left leg dangles carelessly as I wrestle for balance. I lift my left foot and plant my back dress shoe solidly in a crack a few feet up. I push up on my left leg. Slam! The boat acts like a battering ram against a solid door of rock. Dad and John are thrown down. The boat slams back with the tide and collides into the rocky mountainside. The front end shows extensive damage. I see that Dad catches the handrail along the boat's side. It saves him from falling overboard. John drops the rope and runs back inside the boat. The collision of the boat causes vibrations to ripple through the cliffside. Loose mud and small rocks begin to rain down on my head. I barely have a 2-finger hold. My fingers hurt, and I try not to move. My life vest feels tight, too tight, and my breaths grow frantic. Underneath my fingertips, the hard dirt starts to give way. I feel the earth moving under my fingertips. The air becomes thick with falling dirt. I look up as I hear Maggie and Mom encouraging me to keep moving.
Son, please keep moving.
The dirt hits my eyes, causing a severe irritation. My left hand loses its grip, and I fall backwards. My hands fly up, trying to catch a hold of anything. Mom's face fades. Mom! Mom!